Hello. I'm here with...
Blake.
And I'm Ian. And this is Awk Awe, a podcast.
That's what it is.
I bet you're wondering why we're opening up a little differently today. It is because I am the interviewer, and Blake here is the interviewee. We're going to be talking to Blake about his experience as a tattoo artist.
Yeah.
And at the end,
It's good times.
we're going to be talking about a little giveaway we're doing.
All the way at the end, so stick with it.
Yeah, you got to stick with it.
It's a good one.
Yep.
All right.
Y'all like this? I'm in my little interviewer get up. I got my David Letterman index cards. We're feeling pretty good today.
Really trying out. He's going to be a night show host before you know it.
That's right.
Yeah, I like
That's
this
right.
shirt. You got like tiny paisleys or something going on.
Yeah,
It's
man.
Very cool.
I wore it to my cousin's wedding.
Yeah?
Yeah, the whole get up.
Okay.
Maybe not the jeans. I'm wearing jeans. Surprise,
Well,
surprise.
I mean, I didn't expect the lower half. You could have been pantsless. They would have never known.
They would have never known.
We're not pantsless.
No,
Okay.
no, we're not.
I had to clear that up.
All right. So, Blake,
That's me.
when did you get started tattooing, and what made you want to start?
Okay, so I officially started right around 2011-ish. I was in college, and my dad, and I say started, this is very loosely, by the way, because I started in a way that you're not supposed to start. If you really want to take tattooing seriously, if you really want to be a tattoo artist, this is not how you do it. So don't follow my lead here. I did it the proper way years later, and that's what I count as my tattooing career, but this is how I got started. So
This is what inspired you.
exactly. I was in college. I was going to school for IT. Did IT for a good bit, but I was in college for it, and every so often I would go home for the weekends, and I can't remember if I went home for the weekend or for a holiday, but my dad had hit me up. So we grew up in a trailer park. If anybody's familiar with the areas, Stockbridge, Deer Creek is where I grew up. And
Yeah, that's where Squidbillies is from, if you didn't know.
for sure. And so they were still living there at the time, and that's why I feel like it was around 2011 or so, because they ended up moving. So they were still there at the time, and my dad had got a tattoo that wasn't great. He'd gotten 2 tattoos. It was like 2 different Green Lantern symbols inside of each of his biceps, and they weren't great, but they weren't bad, because he told me he paid like $20 for each one. And I was like, well, for $20, I mean, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen,
Yeah.
but also like they weren't great. So you got what you paid for, basically. And so his thought process was, I had been doing art forever. I was really good at it, and he just thought that he could hop on eBay, order a tattooing kit, and hit me up and be like, hey, I want you to tattoo me.
He got it off eBay.
I'm pretty sure. Yep.
Okay.
Because at the time, I don't think at this point in time, Amazon was even carrying them. Amazon is the new big place that people are ordering their little kits off of. But at the time, I think he had to go off of eBay. So he ordered that, and I mean, it probably cost less than $100 if I had to guess.
Shoot.
It would just, we're not talking quality stuff. We're just talking about things that will leave a tattoo.
Yeah.
So he ordered that, and I was like, Dad, that's not how this works. I draw. I don't tattoo. Skin is completely different. And he was like, nah, it's the same. And I was like, okay. I was like, I literally have a friend that tattoos. It's not the same. And he was like, I'm pretty sure with how long you've been doing art, you can figure it out. So I just want you to tattoo me. And I was like,
There's a difference between paper and very durable, stretchy skin.
yeah, paper doesn't do this. So, So I went home one weekend, and I agreed to do it. It came with this disc, and I had no idea how you would learn how to tattoo. I had no idea how you would learn how to set up these machines. I had no idea where to begin with any of it. But it came with this disc, and I was like, I'm going to use this disc as like the end all be all learn how to tattoo like guidebook. So I popped it in, and it's this dude that's like definitely from the 90s or something, teaching you how to tattoo. So he teaches you how to set your machine up, and then he goes through the process of him doing a little tattoo. I'm not learning a whole lot on the how to tattoo portion of this. It's just like mainly how to set up. And then I was like, I guess I'll just figure out needle depth and everything like that on my own.
Yeah.
So I used these super cheap fake skins, did a few practice runs of some stuff, and my dad was like, good enough. And I was like, I don't think so. He was like, well, if you're not confident, we'll do it inside the palm of my hand. Looking back, like that's one of the hardest places to make a tattoo stay. So it's got to be very bold and very in there. It's very painful to do it because you're having to really get it in there.
Your dad's a little bit of a masochist, isn't he?
I think so. I think pain, my entire life, pain has made him laugh. Every story that I've ever heard, he's broken arms and stuff like that, and it just tickles him. So I don't know what his deal is. I didn't get that. Painful things hurt. So so he's digging in, and I know that it's going pretty rough because he didn't seem like he was having the greatest of times with this one. And knowing how he takes my tattoos now versus how he took that one, I know this one we were really driving it in. But because I didn't know anything about needle depth, I think it helped because the tattoo is still there to this day. Yeah. And so, we're talking, 14 years later? So, I mean, that's cool.
Yeah,
for a palm tattoo, not bad. It was in there, right?
Yeah.
So I really drove it in. But again, all of this is like, don't do any of this. If you ever try to tattoo, please don't do any of this. Fast forward some years later, I was still like on the fence considering tattooing. Like, could I do this? Could I not? Like, I would tattoo something on myself for my dad every so often. And
he just kept being your practice dummy.
Kind of, yeah. And I mean, that's continued on forever. Like, anytime he wants something, but I've given, he's almost covered in tattoos now, like completely covered.
Yeah.
And I've done all but like 4 or 5 of them. So, but yeah, anytime I needed to learn something, he was there. There were things that he has wanted that we haven't done because instead I need to learn this. And he would be like, hey, if that's what you got to practice to get you where you need to be, slap it somewhere that I can't see it. I don't care. And so he's always supported it. My mom has always been supportive, but like kind of pushed towards like, maybe don't go down that path just because of the reputation that tattooers had back then. It was very like rock star lifestyle, a lot of drugs, a lot of like, it didn't matter what tattoo shop you walked in back then. Probably all of them were on drugs of some sort. And
back
so,
in their time or back in their time.
Yeah, like the 90s, early 2000s. Like, it was just very common. I'm not saying every artist, but it was super common. And so she was just like, I don't know if I want you in that lifestyle like that. I was like, I don't think it's like that anymore, Mom. Like, it'll be fine.
Mom was always looking out.
Exactly. So she was just looking out for my well-being. But she knew that I was passionate about it, and so I, ultimately, like, whatever makes you happy is what it came down to.
Yeah.
And I ended up doing IT for a long time. I got the idea that I wanted to do it. I hit up a friend of mine, David, and I was like, look, I'm thinking about getting into tattooing. What would be your advice on, like, how to go about it and stuff like that? And realistically, he kind of put me off of it for a little while because he scared me. He was like, the reality is that this is not a job where you can count on a paycheck. Everything you do is on you. So if you don't have anybody in your chair, you're not eating. You know what I mean? So, like, if you need to pay a bill and nobody comes in that week, you're screwed. Everything is on you and how you market and how good you get and everything like that. So you have to put in so much work. And it's not that I didn't expect there to be a lot of work. I just wasn't at a point in my life where I could go through a period of time where I wasn't going to make any money before people started believing in me and then I start making money. You know what I mean?
Right.
I just couldn't chance that beginning portion. So years later, I was working in IT, and I was at a job, and I think this was like right before I made the transition, or I was working at this company and doing weekends at Geek Squad still. And either way, I left Geek Squad one night and was like, I want to get my nose pierced. I'm just going to run to this shop up the street.
Just a spur of the moment decision.
Very spur of the moment. Because I'd wanted a nose piercing for so long, like just a hoop. I don't have one currently, as you can see. I plan to get it back at some point, but I was just like, I just want one. So I'm going to go and get one done. And I think I went with Dion because I was just like, me and him can
old
like,
buddy Dion.
Yeah. So we can, go and shoot some pool and then like get my nose pierced and, we'll just like hang out tonight, whatever. And so he was like, yeah, it's right up the street, dude. Let's go. So he goes with me. And then the guy that does my nose piercing was like, oh, you work at Geek Squad, so you know about computers. And I was like, yeah. So he had a computer that he traded tattoos for. He wanted it fixed. And he was like, I can pay you cash or I can give you tattoos if you just get it fixed. And I was like, well, I do have some tattoos that need to be finished, so we'll do the trade. That turned into me hanging out at this shop quite a bit, and I would do different things for him and occasionally toss cash his way, but like mostly I would fix a computer at the front desk, or I would fix this computer or hook a computer up at his house or do whatever, and he would just give me another tattoo and just trade up.
Oh, nice.
And so that got me hanging around this shop pretty frequently when I wasn't at work, but I still wasn't at a place where I felt like I could just take that leap, right? And so I was learning a lot, and it was almost like apprenticing, but I just wasn't fully taking that leap yet. And this started being right before and around the time that Shauna and I kind of found each other again, right? So a few months into our relationship, she was working at a job that was paying her very well. It was taking care of most of the bills and anything that I made. Like, we had a lot of extra money, but we did the math and her job would take care of the bills and we wouldn't be hurting. So she was like, if you want to pursue this, now would be the time while we have that ability. And so
A little bit of wiggle room.
And so she's the real reason that I was able to like fully take that leap. I left the company that I was working with. I gave them 2 weeks notice. And I just dove in, and I've had a lot of ups and downs through the years of it, but it's been cool. It's been good to me so far. So
That's pretty cool.
yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's always good when your lady inspires you to do something.
Yeah, 100%. She's always been my biggest supporter, so yeah, I appreciate her. My dad got me going on it, but if it wasn't for her always pushing me and telling me that I could do it, and her believing in me, like, because it's just something different. Like, I think we like build it in our heads that like our parents are always going to believe in us.
Yeah.
That may not be true for everybody. Obviously, like I do know some people have horrible relationships with their parents. So that sucks. It's very unfortunate. But I always had a good relationship with mine. And so it just feels like, yeah, of course they're going to support me. Like it's real, but it's just like, they're my parents. Of course they do.
Right.
So when your lady is just like, I know you can do this. If you really buckle down and make it happen, I know you can. And it's just like, yeah, I fucking can. You know what I mean? So
that was a lot of steps leading up to your decision to become a tattoo artist.
So many.
And you mentioned that guy David, and
yeah,
maybe the person that you were working on computers with, would they be who you consider a mentor? Is there anybody else you consider a mentor, or just somebody that inspired you as an artist?
The owner of the first shop I worked at, I would consider him a mentor for piercing. He made it he tried to answer questions when he could, you know what I mean? But he wasn't at the shop all the time. That's just the reality of it. And I mean, that's no shade towards him. Like, I do appreciate him for giving me my start in the business of it.
Yeah.
But he just wasn't there all the time when I needed questions asked. And so, one of the guys that I work with now, at a different shop, but he was at that shop, the first one I worked at, he would help me with a lot of things. David helped me with a lot of things. So I could watch Brett tattoo a lot of different things throughout the day.
That's the one where you're at now?
That's the one where I'm at now, yeah.
Okay.
And so I could watch Brett tattoo and pick up on some things here and there. And then I would say I've picked up something from everybody I've worked with over the years. I've learned something new, which is great. But mentor-wise, Brett gave me a good start and a good foundation. And David helped me clean up what I was doing with that foundation, if that makes sense. So, like, even just, like, little things. Like, one of the craziest things that I never thought of when I first started tattooing was not using your wrist. Because as you, like, bend your wrist, your hand starts to shake a little bit. And so if you're dragging in somebody's skin and your shit starts shaking, like, that's it.
Yeah.
And so he was like, keep all of this locked. None of this needs to move. You hold that machine and you just bend your elbow, your shoulder, whatever you need to do what you need to do. But don't use this wrist. And
it's something you wouldn't even think of.
It's something I would have never thought of.
It's just natural to use your wrist.
Because you just, when you're drawing, when you're writing, I flick my wrist for everything. But when you're tattooing, you can't. I mean, you might be able to give a quick whip when you're shading or something like that and use your wrist. But, like, when you're trying to pull a clean line, using your wrist could be a shaky moment, and that's your downfall.
Yep.
So he was like, if you want clean lines, stick to that. So there's definitely different things that he taught me to help, like, take the foundation I was given, clean it up a little bit, and then move forward. And then he also gave me other advice of, like, how to find the right shop for you, what to look for, when to look for it, and just, like, generalized things outside of, like, kind of like how the business works. You know what I mean? So I got a lot of knowledge from both of them starting out. So that gave me a really good head start for tattooing in general. I think some people get kind of screwed over in that area.
Yeah.
And some people get great people to start them off. Some people get shitty people. So
Yeah, absolutely.
you just got to know what you're looking for, I guess.
Yeah.
I lucked out.
Yeah, you sure did, buddy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know you did at the first shop you did. That's where you did all the tattoos you did on me. It was like,
Yes.
yeah, the first one you did here on my hand, which is pretty crazy.
It was very crazy of you to agree to that for me, but I was
the practice dummy
determined to make this work because
yeah, you better make it work. It's my hand.
Exactly. Exactly. So I was determined to make this one work because I needed something roughly this size, something clean. The guy that I worked for, like, it took a long time before he started letting me tattoo the public, right? Yeah. As it should. Don't get me wrong, as it should. But I was determined to get to a point where he would allow me to tattoo the public. So I was just like, what do you need to see? What can I pull off that you'll be like, okay, cool. And so, I mean, each week it was, that was another thing that, like, he may not have necessarily taught me specific things, because if I needed to learn something, he might give me advice, but Brett would try to teach me, like, actually show it to me. Like I said, he just wasn't there enough for me to witness what he was trying to convey.
Yeah.
So, that's just the way it was. But he did try to give me the stepping stones I needed to know what to work on. So, like, if you can do this, you'll be pretty good. If you can do that next, if you can do this next. So each week it kind of felt like I had something else to accomplish. And this was the first thing. There wasn't anything specific to accomplish. It was just like, do you really feel like you could do a clean tattoo. And for the first one and the first one on the hand, granted, this isn't the cleanest. It's one of my early tattoos.
It's still pretty good.
But everything's still there.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, we're talking 6 years or so. Everything's still there.
Yeah, you got to start
the
about
only thing,
2019, right?
I got let loose on skin in 2019.
Yeah.
I was apprenticing and learning and practicing probably from like late 2017 to early 2018, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah, I know. Before then, you were the piercing man. I came into that shop. Your face was covered in piercings.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
looked
yeah.
like one of them damn cannibal tribe folks.
Bro, I had tackle box going on. I had double eyebrow, double nostril, septum, 4
I
lip
was
piercings.
so caught off guard.
I had 4 lip piercings.
I feel like I kind of flinched when I saw you.
So holy shit.
Is
I
that
had
you?
a tongue ring. I had all my earrings going on. My ears were stretched. Man, I had a lot going on back then. I have toned it down a good bit.
Yeah.
Since then, I've
Still got
found
the
what
snake
I
bites.
like. Yeah, these have just like these are for my inner child. I think.
Yeah.
I always wanted these as a teenager, and I was just like, never gonna happen. And then I reached a point where I could have them, and it's like, well, I'm probably just not gonna let them go, at least until, when you reach an age where you're just like too old for that. I think once I look at myself in the mirror and I'm just like, bro, geezer, get that out of here, then I'll know. But right now I still like it, so it is what it is.
I don't think it's ever going anywhere.
Nah, it'll be a minute. It's gonna be a good minute. I might wait till 50.
Yeah. One of the reasons I bring up the tattoo you did on me.
Yeah.
Like, you've done 3 on me. This was the first one.
Yes.
Then you did the little clipper ship on my back.
On the back.
And Grim Reaper on my arm. I'm not gonna take my shirt off to show everybody, but I'm just
Sorry, folks.
what I'm getting at is like every single one you've done on me personally, like you did these all in the span of a couple of years, and like with this last one you did,
All 3 of those were within at least a year and a half.
somewhere around then.
Maybe even, no. All of them were within 1 year.
1 year.
Uh-huh.
Can't be.
Because I ended up leaving that shop late 2020.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. But that makes it even better because
Yeah.
in that short amount of time, you improved on your skills so much. And
Yeah.
what I want to know is, are you comfortable where you're at right now, or is there still room to grow?
Oh, there's always room to grow. You're never the best out there, and until you're the best, you can't stop. And the reality is, I'll never be the best. Nobody will. I mean, there's people out there who are learning to tattoo right now who have been let loose after maybe 2 years that are doing things that I still can't. And that just comes with being around the right people who already learned those things and now they've passed it to somebody. So I get around people that have taught me things, but there are certain things that I'm still learning, or still looking to learn rather, because I just haven't been around anybody who specifically specializes in that. And I plan to at some point. But one of the biggest things is like black and gray realism, like photo realism. I would love to be able to capture that. It's something that scares me because I would be terrified to mess up somebody's like grandma. You know what I mean?
Right.
But there's also something about that fear that makes me say like, I really want to fucking just be able to pull that off because I'm scared to do it. You know what I mean?
That's what you got. That's what got you going with your dad.
Exactly.
That little bit of fear, that doubt.
Yeah,
It's
just like
that's a challenge.
Could I do it? But the challenge of it, exactly. If the challenge is there, I want to be able to overcome the challenge. So, yeah, I would say there's always room to grow, but black and gray realism is one of those things that like I really want to be able to master at some point. And this year is actually a point where I plan to start taking steps towards that. So I feel like I've gotten...
This is the year.
Yeah, this is that year. I've gotten a good hold on a lot of things, but I feel like in order to feel like I'm going to the next level, that's what I want to add to my arsenal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'd say enough time's passed, and if you could do all this improvement within, I guess, a year and a half, then
Oh yeah.
then since then, I mean, you haven't done anything on me since then. I haven't been in, but
I have not. Yeah, we need to do that. I'm gonna give you a little Awk Awe tattoo.
nah. This, you're gonna get my money. I need you to finish up my chest for real.
Ooh, we do need to do that. Yeah, we can do that. No problem.
Yeah, so I remember at some point you were talking about like these were traditional tattoos you were starting out with. That's like 2D stuff, right?
Yeah. So, like, I feel like a good basis to learn from is traditional. And some people stick with that, and that's their only style for the rest of their lives. It's where tattooing started, so I understand that, like,
Sailor
their
Jerry
love
style.
for it. That Sailor Jerry style. I get the love for it. I love it myself personally. I've got different traditional pieces, but I feel like that's where you start. It's your bold outlines. It's your nice shading, good coloring. It captures all of the fundamentals. But then there are other things that you could be capable of. And so for me personally, I just want to be able to go the extra mile there. I want to be able to do something with no outlines, but it still looks like a photograph. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
you know, that part will take some time, but I do want to start getting towards that this year. So I'll probably be posting that, like, I'm going to be doing some discounted stuff so I can practice some small things and then move my way up and really start learning that.
Well, those kind of tattoos always blow my mind every time I see them on TikTok. It really just looks like they're popping out of the skin.
Yeah, they're very impressive. If you do it the right way, they look amazing.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of, like, I've always had something in me that wants to be able to hit that wow factor for people. And if I can accomplish that, then it's great. And it's like always a good feeling when, like, somebody comes in with a tattoo and you exceed their expectations. I always hear that compliment. I won't say always, that sounds obnoxious, but it is a compliment that I have received frequently over the years, is that they are happier with it than what they had in their mind. And I'm just happy to be able to do that for people. Like, that gives me joy, to be able to put something on somebody permanently for the rest of their life that they didn't even imagine themselves. You know what I mean? So
You're always a
Feels
part
good.
of them.
Yeah, and that too. That's a really, like, the connection that you share with your clients is cool, because you'll always carry this piece of art with me and with you, unless I guess you get it covered or something. I have done some pieces that I'm sure at some point people are gonna get them covered because they're, like, for a significant other or something like that. And, you know, sometimes things don't last and they got to get it covered up. But, like, you know, just come back to me. I'll cover it.
That's probably why you got so many repeat clients, though, because, like, a lot of these tattoo artists, they just don't care. They don't care about that connection. It's just in and out.
You've experienced that,
Yeah.
Yeah, I know we've talked about that in the past. And I have a lot of clients that kind of have given the same sentiment, and that's how they end up walking into the shops that I've worked at, and that's how they stick with me. Because, like, for me, I like to think that I'm very personable. I try to get along with the people and stuff like that. I want people to get something that they're going to love for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, of course.
So, yeah. All right. So yeah, I just feel like it's important to make the connection. It's important to make people feel good about what you're putting on their body. It's important for them to love it. It's a part of them. They have to look at it, and just, like, making those connections with people. Like, a lot of times you can find cool friends this way. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a very personable career. And if you aren't that type of person, if you're the type of person that's just like, what do you want? Fucking butterfly, of course. Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like, another fucking infinity symbol. Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? Like, those kind of, like, cynical people don't make it as far in this career. I feel like legitimately, anytime somebody comes to me and wants me to put something on them for the rest of their lives, I appreciate that. it means something to me. For a lot of people, it's just like, I mean, it could literally be like, put this little semicolon, put this little ladybug, put this little butterfly, put this infinity symbol. Like, it doesn't matter big or small what you're getting. I know it means something to you. And for something to mean something to you, and for you to come to me and choose me specifically to put it on you forever, it means a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that a lot of people are missing, and that's where that disconnect comes from.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife was actually talking about that little semicolon. She's probably going to want you to get put on her at some point.
I absolutely
That's
will.
a really deep meaning.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
I've done quite a few for people.
Yeah, which is crazy. Like, you wouldn't think that so many people deal with that, because the symbolism behind it is,
your story isn't over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could have been, but it's not. You got to continue.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a deep one, and it's one of the tiniest tattoos you could get, but it has so much meaning. And so it's just little things like that it means a lot when somebody wants you to technically take up space on their body for the rest of their lives for something that means so much, even if it is little. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, it means a lot. It's cool. It's a good feeling.
So was there anything you weren't expecting when you were learning to tattoo?
Oh, man. Not expecting. I mean, there are a lot of the people, some of the people, because we can piggyback off of what I just got done saying. I will always try to make that connection. But I will be the first to admit that there are some people that you will never make a connection with. And some of the people you come across are just, very unexpected. Very unexpected. And I mean, that could be anything from like just horrible, ungrateful clients. That could be people who smell like nothing you've ever smelled in your life. There's just so many things.
I feel like you're about to get into another later question of mine.
If you have a question about people that I've dealt with, I'll hold. Yes. Because I've got answers for those. But I think just the people in general, because you will meet some of the coolest people you've ever met. You'll meet some of the weirdest, and sometimes like that means a cool weird, you know what I mean? Like just people who really get things that you get, and you know, those kind of relationships that you can build. Like I didn't go into tattooing expecting that. I just wanted to do art on people's skin. Like I just thought that was a cool concept to be able to get paid to put permanent things on people. Dope. But the connections that you built, I definitely didn't anticipate that, but I'm glad that I've been able to. Outside of that, though, I think another thing would be I didn't expect there to be so much politics in tattooing.
Politics,
yeah, and not like our government politics, but just like people that know each other and will like
gang war shit.
Kind of, yeah, like people that have things against each other, and the people that they have against this, like this person might have something against this guy. This guy doesn't even know who this is. You know what I mean? Like it could be the smallest shit. These guys could be best friends who work on opposite sides of town, and you piss this guy off. So when you go to try to get a job at this guy's shop, he's not going to let you. You know what I mean? Like there's so many little integrated things that I also didn't expect. I just assumed everybody here is here and here is here and so on and so forth all the way through. But that's not the case. There's a lot of connections, and sometimes that's a good thing. When you stay on good people's sides, you can go pretty much wherever you want, or you can very quickly, and I've seen this with one or two people, you can very quickly shut your own career off by screwing this person over and this person and then this person and that person. Now all of your bridges are burned because you screwed over these four people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just don't screw over anybody. That's the bottom line.
That's the best way to live. Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just didn't expect so much interconnection. I mean, it's cool on the one hand, but for the people that are out there fucking up, sucks to suck.
Sounds like you can make a whole TV show out of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a few.
Huh?
Well, I don't know about the connections so much, but there's definitely been some shows that kind of follow the tattoo lifestyle, like Miami Ink.
Well, I'm talking about like a whole drama series.
Oh, yeah. You could do that too. Yeah, for sure. 100%. There's, I mean, you could create just a bullshit TV show that's not like a documentary kind of style.
Yeah, something on Tubi maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Low budget, interesting storyline, kind of. But definitely was filmed on an iPhone 16.
Come in being like, you stole my ink? No.
Bro, them soap opera style things are the best. It's so absurd and ridiculous, and then it pans to this person and pans to that person, and then it zooms in on this person and zooms in. And
then there's that little dramatic pause before the commercial break.
Yeah.
And then just say something real cheesy.
Of course. I can't think of anything cheesy, but yeah.
I'm thinking specifically of like this one episode of Lost.
Oh, gosh.
You know how they do that little dramatic music right before somebody says something really...
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was his name? Like... Not Jack. I don't know. It was the bad guy.
The bald dude?
Not the bald dude.
Oh.
This isn't important.
No, it's not. Yeah. It's okay. That's fine. We're just lost. No worries.
We're lost.
What? Cue the music. All right.
There you go. Dun, dun. Okay, so I'm going to save that other question.
Yeah.
For later.
Absolutely.
Nah, fuck it. I want to know. What's some horror stories you have?
Okay, right into it then. Also, I apologize. There might be some chewing noises in the mic. I've been trying very hard to remember not to chew my gum, but I do have gum in my mouth. And there may have been a couple of times where I've chewed because I just caught myself doing it. So I apologize. I know. How dare me? I'm so sorry. I'm not going to be able to cut it out. So you're going to hear it, and I apologize.
A little bit of chewing ASMR if you like that.
I hope you guys do. I just talked to Mason recently, and we had a whole discussion about how disgusting those eating ASMRs are, so he might hate this.
Bro.
But
some of them are bad.
Dude, they're so...
They're just slurping up them noodles. Yes.
And I'm just like, oh, God. And then you cover half your face. Ugh.
Man.
Okay, anyways. Okay, what'd you ask? Crazy encounters?
Yeah, some horror stories you have.
Horror stories.
In the last few years of you being a tattoo artist.
Okay. So I have a couple. Okay. The first one, kind of tame, pretty small. I'll let these kind of build up.
We like that.
So the first one, I was learning to pierce. I had learned most piercings, but there are some piercings that are never going to be asked for. Like, it's just not common enough. So you can't really learn it without seeing it. Like, you've got little things that you can kind of practice on, but it's just not like a real person. So you have to really watch it be done in order to kind of understand the concept. At least I do. So
I'm thinking of some specific ones, and it's making my lower half feel a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, I never learned that one because nobody ever asked for it.
I would hope not.
It's crazy. No, I lied. There is one that I can do and have learned to do.
But why?
I won't get into that, but there's I don't know.
Getting away from the subject again.
Yeah, I may have had it at one point, but it did it myself. Anyways, so ouch. So anyways, back on subject. So there was one that I had never seen done before, and it was
the gooch.
Taint. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's the way it'd be smelling down there every now and then.
it's got a more professional name, which is like perineum or something like that. Nobody calls it that. When somebody walks in, they're asking for a taint piercing.
People actually ask for that?
That's what I'm getting into, right? So, shocker, I've gotten asked for taint piercing more than male genitalia. So
genitalia.
So what had happened was, and this is why I bring this up, just because it was a crazy experience. A lady and her aunt came together to each get this done. I know, what a family outing. Yeah. So
people, man.
I was like, dang, that's crazy. Well, I can't do it, so the owner's going to have to do it.
What was the age gap?
It's pretty far. Yeah, it's just weird, man. Just weird.
Lady and her aunt came to do it.
A lady and her aunt came to do it, and I thought I was going to be pretty much home free because I've never seen this done.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that we'll ever be asked for it again. No reason for me to learn it. I'm going to go outside, smoke a cigarette. I was smoking cigarettes at the time. I'm going to go outside and I'm going to smoke a cigarette. Whatever. Well, the owner said, I'm going to need you back here. It's like, I don't think I need to add this into my arsenal of piercings to do. Nobody's going to ask. It's okay. He's like, no. This is a 2-man job. And I was like, why?
Did he make you do the older one?
Nope.
Oh,
no,
okay.
He did both of them.
Oh, but he needed some.
There it is. I was the cheek spreader. Yep. So he said, glove up. And I was like, I don't ever have to glove up to watch. What the fuck is going on? I had to go back there and I had to be like, and the younger one had little toilet paper balls. So,
oh my God.
Yeah. Crazy.
Clean up before you do this shit.
So many people don't. You would be surprised. I was talking about that earlier
no,
today.
I wouldn't be, honestly.
No, yeah, probably not. Not really. Yeah, so that's the first one. That was really weird. The next one,
little snowballs.
and I've had a lot of interesting experiences, but these are either the funny ones or ones that like upset me. So, there was this gentleman who I can only imagine was homeless. If he wasn't, a lot of questionable things going on in his life, but no judgment here. So he came in and I was working with these guys, Trevor and Chase, at the time. And this guy walks in. I look behind them. I look behind me, and they both disappeared and left me to talk to this gentleman. They immediately saw the way he looked and ran. And I was like, okay, cool. Because you know how like some people like just kind of look like they might smell bad.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Do you think they'd seen him before?
Nope. Seems unlikely based on our interaction.
Oh, man.
So, because that will happen sometimes. Sometimes people just know the people that they don't want to fuck with anymore, and they'll just like send somebody else out to talk to them.
Yeah.
And so this gentleman was probably a little down on his luck. And I approached him. My initial instinct was correct. Not the greatest smell in the world happening. And I was just like, hey, man, how can I help you? Like, you know, I didn't let it interfere with the interaction. These are all just things going on in my head, but I still, you know, very courteous, very personable. And I was like, hey, man, how can we help you? And he was like, you guys use disappearing ink. And I'd come across some things like this online. I know of one up in New York. There's a shop that uses it. I have seen this in person, actually, because shout out to Brett and Vic. Vic got this done in her underarm, and it's supposed to only last for a year.
So what's the point of it?
I think it's just to give people kind of a, like, you can get the tattoo there. One, you can feel if you would be able to take it, cool. But two, also, would you be okay with having something there forever? And then three, just trying out ink that does disappear. That's the only thing those are the only three I can come up with.
I mean,
any other reason seems absurd. So, like, what other reason could there be? So that's all I can come up with. I don't know for sure, but, you know, maybe some people just want to look like a badass for a year. I don't know. But a little tip, if you ever try this, it does last a lot longer than that, because I think she only just now recently had it start really fading away.
How long has it been?
She can correct me later if I'm wrong, but I want to say like 3 to 4 years.
And you say it's usually supposed to only last a year.
1 year. Yeah.
Huh.
Now, maybe that has something to do with it being on the underside of the arm, not getting as much sunlight. I have no idea. But I have done zero research in this. But I know about it, and I had seen it in person because of her, and I was like, well, it exists, but we don't use it. Sorry. And I thought that was the end of the questioning. And he was like, okay, so do you think there's any other shops, like, is there ink that disappears? And I was like, yeah, man, it exists. He's like, okay, because maybe this other shop down the street used it. And I asked him what it was, what shop it was. Based on which shop he told me, I'm not going to like call anybody out or anything like that. That's not what this is for. But I will say 100% certainty they don't. I don't even know if they're using ink that they're supposed to use. So they're definitely not using the high priced stuff. And so he said he was getting he had gone in there, paid them however much money. They did a tiger on the back of his hand. And then when he was getting arrested, his hand was wrapped.
Excuse me?
And right. This is how he told me the story. And I was like, I think we like jumped forward in time a good bit. What happened? Why were you arrested? Like, as far as I know, you've already been paid, or you've already paid them. So he said when they were arresting him, his hand was wrapped up and they were taking him out of there. And I was just like, okay, crazy. I was like, how did you get arrested? And he was just like, I don't remember. And I was like, okay. He said, when I took the wrap off, the tattoo wasn't there anymore. And I was like, okay, let me give this guy the benefit of the doubt, because he's coming off a little crazy. So
slightly.
I get closer than I would have liked to be, if we're being honest. But I got closer and I looked at his hand. I really inspected it, and I was like, there's not a dot. There's not a line. There's no evidence. Even based on like seeing hers, I know how it fades, and it does it in little bits here and there. You would have some remnants, but I know they're not using that. But I just tried to give him as much benefit of the doubt as I could. There was not a dot. There was not a scar. There was not a nothing. They didn't use any kind of... I was like, look, man, I'm looking at your hand, and I know for a fact you didn't get a tattoo. So he was like, so then what did I pay for? And I was like, beats the hell out of me, bro. You should probably go back there and get your money.
Yeah.
He was like, okay, well, you got like $10 so I can get a pack of cigarettes? And I was like, no, I don't.
No.
And he was like, all right, man. And so I had already stepped back to where I was. And before walking out, this man just let one rip. And I was just like...
Just standing there in that same spot.
Just standing there. Just... And then he was like... Got real confused look on his face. And he was like... It smells like milk. And I was like... How is this fucking real life, dude? How is this real life? What is happening right now? am I being punked? Like, what is happening?
That's what it would feel like.
That's what it felt like. For sure, that's what it felt like.
Ashton Kutcher's about to pop out of the corner.
Just popping out, bro. He's like, we got you. And yeah, so that was a weird one. Then I have...
Oh, there's more.
Oh, yeah. We've got a couple. I'm gonna throw them all out here. There's a lady who really pissed me off. To this day, she's the only bad review I've ever received in my life. And basically what had happened was her and her husband come in for these Browning symbols. They're very common in the South. If you haven't seen them, they're like outlines of deers, and they had a male and a female, and they kind of make a heart.
I've seen this on the back of trucks.
Trucks and stuff usually, yep. Mm-hmm. So they each wanted one. They each had I don't remember him having that many tattoos, but she had a couple. They both wanted these, and I was like, sure, cool. I priced them the same, told them to come back whatever day it was, and then we did them. The guy was up first, and all it was, and this is what I priced them for, was the outline of the symbol. And so we did it, and he's talking to me, and we're having an okay conversation. We're fine. We're chilling. He seems happy. He's talking to his wife. Well, everything's cool. So I just do the outline, whatever. Cool. Send him on his way. She comes up. She says, okay, I'm going to be a little bit more difficult. And I was like, okay. You know, usually people say that, and it's the same kind of people who are like, ooh, girls, Panama City is not ready for us. And then, you know, it's really just you guys drinking on the beach, and like you didn't do anything crazy to Panama City. They were totally ready for you. Yeah. It's that kind of feeling. Mm-hmm. She's just like, I'm about to do something crazy. And I was like, okay. And she was like, I want mine shaded in. And I was like, wow, so crazy. All right, I'll shade it in for you. No problem. So I was like, all right, yeah, no problem. No worries. I got you. Because I'll just you just want solid black. Okay, cool.
Not too much.
Not even charging her more for it, right?
Oh,
I think I'm doing her a favor. Oh, I charged them the same amount. They were both getting the same thing. Mm-hmm. I thought. He got an outline. She got her shaded in.
She knew what she was doing.
But she didn't tell me until she got in the chair.
She knew what she was doing.
Yes. And I could have been like, well, that's going to be extra. But I just had a good conversation with him. They're giving me good vibes right now. Mm. And so I'm like, okay, I got you. I'll shade it. No problem. Shade it all the way in. We're having a good conversation. We're chilling. Everything's cool. Same as with the guy. And then we finish up everything. And on her way out, she shows me this one tattoo that somebody did a terrible job on. She wants me to fix it later on down the road. She's like, maybe I'll come back in a couple of weeks and have you fix this because they just fucked my shit up. And I was like, yeah, they did. But yeah, definitely. I can do that whenever. Like, the bones of the tattoo are there. I can definitely fix that for you. Cool. So I'm thinking, we've had a great interaction. She's asking me for future work. Nothing is wrong here. Mm-hmm. So I got a text message a few days later that this hoe put a fucking thing about me, a bad review about me on Yelp. And let me tell you, the bitchiest bitches leave bad reviews on Yelp.
That's it. That's the only thing Yelp is good for. It's people going to complain.
If you want to find
everything
out the worst
has 1
thing,
stars.
The worst thing about a place, that's where you go. You go to Yelp. Mm-hmm. If you're just looking for bad shit, you go to Yelp. So she gets on there and says her husband's tattoo is doing just fine.
Okay, so you got a little bit of a good review there.
I guess.
That's the slightest.
Just the slightest. And then she had posted pictures of hers. It's very clearly infected. Mm. But it's been days. This had nothing to do with me. And your husband's tattoo is fine. So use your common sense. This is something you did. If you both had the same infection, even though I know I cleaned my shit and you didn't get shit from me, everything I use is sterile. Whatever. I would at least hear you out.
Yeah.
But your husband's is just fine.
So what did she say?
Yours is infected. I mean, I can only imagine that she probably like let her dog lick it or something. I don't know. But all she said was that it was the worst experience that she's ever had. It was the most painful tattoo she's ever had. She was in agony the whole time she was getting tattooed by me. Even though we had all these great conversations and everything like that, she was in agony the whole time. And just the most painful, except you asked me for future work as you were leaving and hoping that I would fix a tattoo for you. But because you got your shit infected, you're looking for a way that this could get you more free shit.
Of course.
Stupid bitch. So basically, that's what happened with that.
She'll probably be doing the same thing at Applebee's.
Yeah. No, I have no idea. I have no doubt. I have no doubt. Because I did look in, you know how you can like see other people's reviews of other things they've reviewed.
Yeah.
She leaves nothing but bad reviews for places. And I can't tell you, like in the moment, I've never been so livid in my life.
That's
because nobody, even since then, has given me a bad review. I genuinely try to make people happy. And if there is anything that I have ever done to make them unhappy, or maybe something they pictured something a little bit different or whatever, I will do everything in my ability to make sure that, okay, let it heal, come back and see me, we'll fix it up. Like I'm going to do everything in my ability to make sure that what I've given you is what you wanted from the get-go or better. And I think people do understand the genuineness there and will always like continue coming to me for that.
right.
But for her to do what she did, bro, fuck that hoe.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyways, nothing ever came of it. And she didn't do anything except like maybe a year later, I saw somebody, she recommended the shop, but said specifically, don't go to Blake. And like, that was it. She didn't specify anything. She just said, don't go to Blake.
What a Karen.
You should go here, but don't go to Blake. Stupid bitch. Yeah, so that was wild. All right. So the next one that I have for everybody is kind of wild, to be honest. It's probably the most crazy interaction. We had a gentleman that worked next door to us at a shop that I was working at. And I won't get into like how this all went down, because that's the guy that I worked with. It is his personal business, whatever. But he got into it with this guy one night that we worked next door with. And he was kind of pissed at him, basically saying that, you know, he needed to respect him and stuff like this. And then they're having it out, words, whatever. Well, the dude that worked next door got pretty heated about it.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes to his car. I was like, oh, I know what that means, bro.
Yeah, that's a universal sign right there.
And he comes back around, racks a gun, and points it right at him. And I was like, bro, this is insane. So I've got kids. He's got kids. Dude's got kids. Like, we ain't trying to be involved in all this. I was like, bro, legitimately, I'll call the cops. Like, I went into the shop and grabbed my phone. I was like, I'll fucking do it for real. Like, and I think at some point he deterred. Like, he stopped what he was doing. I don't know exactly what happened. Maybe he was just having a bad day that day. We learned later he was doing a lot of crazy things. So it could have been a lot worse, because what this guy was doing was killing people. Yep. Found out later that he was a whole ass murderer.
Excuse me.
Whole murderer, bro. So the
He let y'all off the hook?
somehow. I don't know what happened, but I'm thankful.
Yeah.
My buddy's thankful, I'm sure. And yeah, we realized probably, I want to say a couple of weeks later that, that could have been way worse. So what had happened was this guy ended up getting picked up. And then we found out the turn of events later. So what happened to him was him and his brother had killed a few women.
A few?
A few. I don't remember the exact number. I want to say it was like maybe 3 or so. And thrown and I guess I should have given a warning before this story. But before I go any further, if you need to skip ahead, please skip ahead, because obviously, as you see, this is dealing with murder. So if you're squeamish about anything, like, skip forward a bit. It's okay. I get it.
Well, we've had a few people sticking with us that are into true crime. So.
There are people that are into true crime, and so I'm sure this will be fine. But I should have given a warning beforehand. So I do apologize. But
we'll add it to the
I can probably just like type it in the bottom so you guys can see. So basically, they were taking these girls and putting them behind a Kroger over off Hudson Bridge, and
which is also in Stockbridge.
Squidbilly
Town.
Squidbilly. So they had found a couple of these bodies that had been reported, and they were trying to figure out who did it, whatever. And eventually it led back to a lot of people's Ring doorbells seeing this guy and his brother carrying out what looked like somebody wrapped in something, carrying them to the car. And then we found out, like, the day before he got picked up, supposedly, I'm going to throw the supposedly out there, that there was a body of one of these young ladies that had been in his trunk all day while we were at the shop, just sitting there in his car. We had zero
while
idea.
All this was going on, while he's got the gun in your face?
Not then. No, this was probably like 2 weeks later, maybe. But I mean, at this point, like, everything had been reconciled. I mean, dude had just like gotten a motorcycle and was letting my buddy like ride on it. Like, everything was fine from there. You know what I mean? We thought everything was normal. I don't know what happened. And yeah, so it was really wild. Just a crazy turn of events, that this guy both pointed a gun at us and also ended up being an actual murderer of multiple people, and I'm almost positive still in prison to this day, because I think it was more his brother than it was him, but he was helping his brother with everything, and we still don't know exactly how much he had to do with everything besides discarding. But
that's still
terrible.
Yeah.
Because there was some charges of necrophilia. Yeah. And murder, obviously, and a couple of other things. But the one that threw us all for a loop was necrophilia. That shit was fucking nuts. So, yes.
We're just going to leave it at that.
Yep. That's the story.
We're talking about tattoos today.
Yep. That's it. That's pretty much all the story, though. But yeah, so hopefully anybody that was squeamish, I apologize. Hopefully you skipped ahead of all this, and here we are.
Well, you definitely saved the craziest one for last.
Yeah, I told you, try to build up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got plenty of crazy stories, but I think of every story, that's probably like just the craziest one that I've ever had any like closeness to. It was weird. That was a crazy one.
That probably left you a little bit of the heebie-jeebies for a couple
quite
days.
A while. Yeah, quite a while, because I talked to this guy all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I gave it no other thought. He never really had a problem with me. Like, we talked all the time. But that night, he and my buddy just got into it about something. And that really didn't feel like them either, because they chopped it up all the time too. So it was just like, maybe he was having a bad day. Maybe all of this stuff going on is like really weighing on him. Who knows? I don't know all of the specifics, but yeah.
Wild.
It was. So, yep.
So to turn it around,
lift it back up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tell me a piece or two that you're proud of that you've done on somebody.
Okay.
Or multiple people.
Yeah. So I have a lot. I have a lot that I'm proud of. One of my most recents was, well, I don't know how recent it was. It was for our wedding. My wife had a piece that she had let somebody do years and years ago. And for our wedding and our wedding photos and everything, she wanted something to cover it up. So we did this big purple heart-shaped jewel that had like nice pearls going around it and different like little filigree pieces coming off of it. And just to cover everything up, and it covered everything up really well. And so I was very proud of that one.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know I had to give you a little disclaimer one time. I was looking at it, and I was like, I'm not looking at her boobs.
Oh,
it's just a really nice tattoo.
It's literally like right at the cleavage. So I mean, yeah, obviously, but no, yeah, no, yeah, that was one of my favorites because at the time, I only had a little bit of experience with cover ups, and so being able to accomplish that for her the week of our wedding, like that was a good feeling, and I was very happy to do that for her. I've done a couple of pieces on her that I'm proud of, and some on you, like people that have allowed me to have them kind of be my guinea pigs early on. All of those mean something to me, and I'm appreciative for.
I don't know how I feel about being called a guinea pig.
Yeah, well, is what it is, man.
Oink, oink, I guess. No, that's not the sound pigs.
Guinea pigs. No, I think they just...
Yeah, big old hamsters.
Yeah, something like that. So, yeah. And then, let's see. My mom doesn't have nearly as many tattoos as my dad. And she has only gotten like one or two from me, and that's it. I've tattooed a lot of different pieces on my dad that I'm proud of just because like some of them are very family related, with very ancestral, like our Hawaiian side of the family and things like that. Different pieces that mean a lot to him and mean a lot to me. And then there are some pieces on him that are just like milestones for what I was learning at the time, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And then I had one who... So the last shop that I worked at, we were kind of asked if we would be a part of like 15 to 20 different people that wanted to get tattoos for a specific person that had passed.
Yeah.
And he was on, I believe, on the SWAT team for Clayton County. We all tattooed this one specific piece that they had put together, and that was like the matching thing that a lot of the officers got. But, I mean, not to diminish the meaning of theirs in any way. I mean, that was cool in itself. That's fine.
Yeah.
Just for the camaraderie. But
was it Henry you're talking about?
Yeah.
The guy that went to school with us?
Mm-hmm.
That happened like right across the street from Mom's house in the next neighborhood.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
Michaela was sitting right outside when they were hearing the gunshots.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. I had no idea.
That shit was crazy.
Oh.
I was on the road trucking at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
I could hear the shots on the phone.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so it was for him. And the most meaningful thing for me, like I said, not to diminish the SWAT officers, but
yeah,
I got to tattoo his... I can't remember if they had gotten married officially yet or if she was still his fiance. Fiance, yep.
Yeah.
So I got to tattoo his fiance, his sister, and his mother. And those meant a lot to me. That was just because you could tell how much it meant to them. Mm. And I think that's just one of those things that I was talking about earlier, that like just seeing how much it meant to them meant so much to me. So that was definitely really cool. And then
It had to be emotional.
it was definitely emotional because there were some, like, obviously their schedules are all over the place. And so we had been doing a couple here and there throughout the week. And then we had one day where we did the majority, and they went last. And at that point, I think Trevor had appointments, so he wasn't able to participate. And Chase had pretty much tapped out on the last one that he had planned on doing. So I ended up being able to do the fiance, the sister, and the mom. And so that was really cool. And so, yeah, that was a cool one. That was nice, and that meant a lot. Also, I did a kind of generational tattoo piece. It was a matching piece across a daughter, a mother, I think there was also a cousin involved, and a grandmother. And the grandmother was like much, much older. It was her first tattoo ever, but they all got it. And so that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've had tons of tattoos that were very cool and meant a lot. But those are the ones that kind of come to mind first. Yeah.
Sorry.
It's all good, man.
Yeah.
It's all good.
I mean, it's heavy, isn't it? Like, that, we were talking about that connection with people earlier. It's like, that makes it even more so.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We went down again.
Yeah, sorry, man. gotta lift it back up. Yeah.
But it's beautiful. It's
absolutely.
I'm glad you get to make these connections with people, and
it's a cool feeling.
Part of that.
It's a different, exactly. Just to be a part of something for them is, it's really cool.
All right. So, lift it back up.
Lift it.
In a way.
Okay.
What's something people misunderstand about tattooing or being an artist? And we were kind of touching on that earlier, like with...
Yeah, the assumptions, like things that my mom assumed, and things that I even assumed going into it, and different things. Some of the biggest assumptions are that it's kind of a rock star party lifestyle, and that may have been true at one point. I don't know, but it's not for me. It is an art form that I take seriously, and that's just not the case. And I don't think that that's the case for a lot of artists, at least anymore. And there are people who automatically assume that, you're going to be just rolling in the dough because tattoos are expensive. Tattoos are not cheap, but they do not think about how much all of the supplies can cost. Yes, there are cheap supplies out there. Self-respecting artists are not gonna. Yeah, exactly. You kind of have to spend money to make any money. Any self-respecting artist is not going to use the cheapest stuff out there. It's just not going to happen. So, it takes a certain amount of money to be able to be a tattoo artist. And then you've got to pay your bills, and you've got to pay the shop, and like there's just so much that comes out of it. You're not going to be rolling in dough unless you've got like 1 million followers and you book nothing but giant pieces and just work like a couple of days a week on big pieces, and then you'll be fine. But the reality of that is non-existent. Most people want small dainty things, to be honest, which are a personal favorite of mine.
Little butterflies?
Yeah, I'll do butterflies. I'll do anything. Like I said earlier, fuck it.
Is that what you see the most, honestly?
I don't know. I do see a lot of butterflies. I do.
Yeah.
I see a lot of butterflies. I used to see a lot of infinity symbols. That's why I made that joke earlier. Because it was a running joke all over the internet, infinity symbols. And I feel like it had its time. Butterflies are more of a continued thing. Like, you're still going to see them. You've seen them since the 80s, 90s, 2000s. Like, you're still going to see them, but it's not all the time. Flowers You see a lot of flowers and a lot of bouquets of flowers, especially like specific ones for like different months of people's birth. And so like you'll have this flower for that person and you just create little bouquets off of it. Those are probably some of the more common themes that I do. Yeah. What are some other things that are kind of misunderstood? I don't know. I think that's about it. And the tattoo artists are just kind of like assholes, like you said, like disconnected assholes. While those do exist, they still very much exist. I know that's we've talked about it many times. That's probably an assumption that people would make of me based on my face and facial expressions. But as soon as we start speaking, I think people feel that connection and like kind of understand that it's just my face. So I'm thankful for that, because if people just were based off looks, I would probably not get chosen as frequently. So yeah.
Well, you're not that ugly.
Well, thanks, man. I like to think I'm not, but when the mirror cracks every morning, you just don't know.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Damn, seriously, mirror?
Why you keep doing this to me?
Man, I can only buy so many mirrors. So what's some advice you'd give to someone that wants their first tattoo or wants to start tattooing?
Okay. To get your first, get what you want. Don't let anybody tell you that it's not possible. The second they tell you it's not possible, go to somebody else. Now, no, I shouldn't say that, because there are some things that aren't possible. And if their reason for telling you that it's not possible is because you want a face that's this big, then yeah, listen to them, because you just can't do a certain amount of detail. Ink spreads in the skin over time, and that's a thing that a lot of people don't understand. So you will see things thicken and kind of blur up over time, and it's over a long period of time, but it happens. And so 10 years down the road, that little tiny face that looked cool when you got it the first day is just going to be a little blob of mess, and you won't be able to tell what it is. So there are certain things that shouldn't be done at certain sizes. But outside of that, if they tell you it can't be done, or it's just like if you go in for realism and they tell you that it's going to look faded in 10 years and it's just not going to look good, it's because they don't know how to do it. There are people who have proven it can last a long time. You just have to go to the right person. So I guess, man, this damn drink, sorry. I guess the best advice is just do your thorough research. Choose the artist, not because your friend got tattooed by them, but because they do a style that you are specifically looking for. And if you're looking for something more generalized, you could use just about any tattoo artist, then so be it. Just make sure that their work is clean.
Yeah.
But sometimes I don't think people realize that there are different styles of tattoos and people specialize in different things.
Like you were talking with the realism.
Like with realism, and that you would go to somebody who specifically specializes in that. For me, I do a lot of black work. I do a lot of fine line. And I do a lot of like deep, dark tribal stuff. And so I would say those are like my top. It's a lot of black we're using. Every so often I'll get a request for color, and that's fine. I will accommodate and I will do the color. But if you go to my page, you will see that probably 1 in every 20 photos is going to be color. I don't do a lot of color because it's not my preference. I will do it if it's requested, but you should. I do it more so for clients who have left a good impression on me or who have become friends over the years, things of that nature, because I don't like the way color tattoos fade. And they don't always, but like even if they're put in well, like you can see how dark this is. And then you can see how bright it is here.
That's probably because there's a little bit more sun exposure, I'm guessing.
Exactly. So, like, there are different things that affect color, and over time, they can darken, they can fade, they can do so many things. And I don't know, black and gray is black and gray, man. It's just going to stay what it is unless you don't put it in properly and it fades. I don't know. But
yeah. And I know sometimes
those are just my preferences.
We were talking about like sometimes it's the ink because when you did my hand,
yeah,
like we were thinking that reds just didn't stick to my hand, to my skin that well.
Initially, right. And after years of more experience, I've learned that it's very likely the ink that I was using at the time that we did it is probably why that happened.
Yeah.
There were definitely some cheaper inks being used that I didn't know that at the time because I was gifted these inks and I had heard of this brand. But sadly, they were probably just a knockoff. But,
yeah, I wish you had known about this at the time because you were digging in my damn finger, bro. Like,
really trying to get that red in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you should be able to just brush it in. And again, the price of being a guinea pig, because I did not know a whole hell of a lot. I knew just enough to. You can tell what this is, and the lines look better than most people doing their early tattoos. So
yeah, and it's not as blurred out and blotted as you were talking about.
And fucking yeah. Mm-hmm. There
so
you're probably gum again. Whoops.
Oh.
But
so you're probably buy black ink by the gallon, huh? Do they have gallons?
Dude, if they had gallons, I would be so ecstatic. But they don't. I do. I've also gotten into a lot more like black work, which is not black work, but blackouts, where people just like cover a whole section with black. Like they'll just take everything and just cover it up. And every tattoo will be covered as solid black all the way up. It's just becoming more and more popular.
But why?
Who knows? I don't know. Certain styles of it look cool, and you can do designs that are just bold black, and MGK has done it.
It's kind of borderline.
Ronnie Radke has done it, and I don't think anybody's doing their face, thank God. But
I hope
somebody out there might do it. I saw a dude tattoo his whole body blue, so that was weird. But yeah. So if I could, I would definitely buy it by the gallon, but. Buy it by the biggest bottle that they've got because I know I'm going to go through it in a couple of months.
Yeah, especially if they're getting those blackouts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those take the most. But it is so satisfying because you can get what a lot of people refer to it as holidays, where like when you look at it in the sunlight, the black will have spots of like more of a gray tone and then back to black. And it's like you didn't completely saturate the area as much as it could have been. Mm-hmm. And man, when you get that full velvety black all the way through, oh, such a good feeling. But
these are things I wouldn't understand. But good on you.
Well, yeah, that's fair. And then you asked about people trying to get into tattooing.
Yeah.
I would just say, like, get an apprenticeship.
Don't do what you did.
Don't do what I did. Most people, if anybody had known about what I did, I probably would never have been taken seriously at first. But I put my time in at an actual shop, and I recommend that everybody do it that way. It's just better on you. Unless you can afford right out the gate to just pay for all your own shit and you're not reliant on this to make money, you just really have a passion for it and you can open your own little private studio, hey, more power to you. Not everybody has that luxury, but hey, as far as I'm concerned, you're off doing your own thing in your own private studio. It's none of my business. But
as long as it's sanitary.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously it should be sanitary, but most people that are running their own private studios are tattooing friends and family and whoever they just like come across at a store or something like that. And, sometimes they're really good and sometimes they're not. It just depends. It's the luck of the draw because they're on a more private basis. It's not just a shop that you can walk into and say, hey, I want to make an appointment. It's more of a direct contact thing. If you don't know how to reach me, you're not getting an appointment kind of thing. So if you run it that way and you're maybe not the great artist, but you've got a little bit of a clientele and you can afford to keep yourself open, by all means, avoid the apprenticeship, I guess. Go for it. I don't know. But I feel like the real way to do it and the most respectful way to do it is to have somebody pass their knowledge on to you and you do what you can with it. And try to be the best that you can be.
Damn right.
Hell yeah.
Well, I'm sure you'll be glad to know that's all the questions I have for you.
I am. It was stressful.
I think they'd be even more glad because now we're at the fun part.
The giveaway. So,
and now at this point, I'm going to let you take over because this is your giveaway.
All right. So giveaway time. So what we're doing is a giveaway. Obviously, we want to continue boosting this channel. We want to boost. This is specifically going to focus in on YouTube and TikTok. I didn't want to get, too crazy to incorporate our Instagrams and our personal Instagrams and all this and that. That can just come in time if you guys like us enough. It's fine. But very specifically YouTube and TikTok, because I feel like that opens up a world for us where we can begin to do lives and do a little bit more behind the scenes stuff and like more fun things for you guys content wise that might be a little bit more entertaining than just occasionally watching us talk about something random. We could choose to have a day where we're doing a live session for an hour or so and do different things during it and answer questions and whatever and have more of an interactive experience with you all. And ultimately, that's what this is all about. We are very much, we enjoy the interaction that we get from all of you guys. So what we're shooting for here is 1,000 subscribers and 1,000 TikTok follows. So
more likely to get to TikTok faster than YouTube at this point.
Yeah, because we're almost halfway there on TikTok. So
yeah.
But I did the math, and let's talk subscribers for a second. Right now, we're still sitting around like 72. We need more. One, I need to be able to see analytics. So once we cross that 100 mark, that's one milestone that is good for me. I mean, regardless, I'm appreciative that we've gotten to 70 so far. But we've got to hit these milestones in order to access more things. And that's just helpful for us to continue to better be able to understand what you guys like a little bit more and stuff like that and what you want to see more of and how frequently and on what days you watch. Maybe, that ends up down the road changing what day we upload because you guys watch on this day more or whatever. Yeah. It's just a lot of behind the scenes things that it would help us with. So I created 1,000, right? That's the goal.
You created 1,000?
I created 1,000. Isn't that amazing?
That's crazy.
So my thought process here is even if we take, let's say, the 72 people, right? And you guys reach out to 10 people. That doesn't seem like an insurmountable amount of people. We would be almost there. That would be 700, right? Like it's that easy to make a jump. And I think that that's possible. So to give that incentive, we will be doing this giveaway. So this giveaway is for a half-day session with me tattooing you for that length of time. So that will be able to include multiple tattoos that fit into that time frame, one large tattoo that fits into that time frame, whatever the case may be. You're getting a crazy amount of tattoo work that I haven't quite done the math on how much it's supposed to cost on a regular basis, but on average,
more than free.
You're getting it for free. So you will be saving yourself a ton of money if you win. So essentially, we've tried to create a way for you guys to have multiple ways to enter multiple times. Okay, so I'm going to go over each of these. And these are all of the ways that you guys will be able to enter the giveaway. All right. So we have, first and foremost, following us on TikTok and subscribing here on YouTube. Do those two things and send us the proof that you've done it. That's it. Boom.
Does that count for anybody that's already done that?
Absolutely. If you've already done it, show us that you've done it. It counts.
Okay.
So that's potentially 72 people that could already be entered done. And if you, so you do that, that's one entry. And you can send that to any of our pages, whether it's our personal pages or like if you send it to Ian on his personal page, he will let me know. We will keep track of it, and I'll put you on the list of people who have an entry with me, right?
And I'll try to respond to you.
Yes, that way you'll know for sure. So the second one is going to be share with your friends. So you share with them, they do the first step, and tell us that you sent them. Boom, you got yourself another entry.
And
so
they
that's
got an entry.
2 entries, and they got an entry. So seeing how this is working? All right. There will be an ad posted about this giveaway. If you take that ad and share it to your own page, we will put the hashtag up here. That hashtag, once it's used with this image, that's an entry. And then finally, well, not finally, I've got one other thing. Sorry. So another way to get probably the most potential entries, if you are in the area or feel like taking a drive or whatever the case may be, you can get tattooed by me, and it will be based on each individual tattoo, not each entry. So if, let's say, perchance, you came and got 20 tiny little tattoos for $100, that's 20 entries. I'm not saying you want that many tiny little tattoos, but it is 20 entries, and you only spent $100 towards something that could be upwards of $600, $700, $800. So, meh.
A little bit of an investment there.
Right. Just a little bit, but that could be 20 entries. You never know. You know what I mean? So it's not based on the session. I just want to make that clear. That's why I give that example. So it's not the session, because I know that there will be some confusion. Like if I visit with you once, that's 1 entry. No. And I posted this on my Instagram, and I might have put this on the Awk Awe page on the story. But anybody that had already started coming to me since that post has already been entered, just so you guys are fully aware. And let's see. So, and so the last thing that I want to ensure is covered, and this isn't so much a way to enter, but a way that you could get other people to gain entries for you. Your entries can be given to somebody else. So tattoos, one, maybe you don't live close enough, and that's fine. I understand. We are not at a place where we can fly you out or anything like that. No. So until we get to that point, you would have to travel on your own dime. And so I understand that might be a lot. And
still be getting a free tattoo.
But you'd still be getting a free tattoo. So I mean, this part is up to you. If you want to travel, by all means, come and do it. It'd be great, and it'll mean just that much more that you were willing to. But I understand distance is one thing, and also tattoos aren't for everybody. So you may be willing to support us through this giveaway, but you may not want any tattoos, and that's fine. You can do everything to get an entry, and then let us know who you want to give those entries to, and we will put them on the list instead of you. So it just covers the basis to get everybody entries, get everybody plenty of entries. And I think every day, because I know that a lot of people probably won't want to post it that frequently, and I understand that, and that's why I'm letting this be a thing. Every day that you post the giveaway that we post with that hashtag will also count as an entry. So
see where you're going with this.
So that will also count as an entry. So you can get an entry per day, along with all of the other entries, along with all of the entries that you could get getting tattooed by me. So there we go. That's everything.
All right. So now we got to come up with a hashtag off the top of our head.
Yep. So we will come up with a hashtag. It will be right there. And there you go. So
TATMYAWK.
that's really close to something else. So no, that's crazy.
But that's why.
Maybe.
Hashtag TATMYAWK.
We'll figure it out. We'll put the official one at the bottom. It'll also be a part of the post. If that's what it ends up being, that's what it ends up being. We'll figure it out. Crazy. So, anyways, yeah. So that covers everything. So it is a half-day session. There are opportunities for so many entries. I wish all of you the best of luck. And there we go. So that is the giveaway that we are doing. Now we are going to move on to a giveaway that I did for my birthday this past, I guess, 2 weeks ago?
At this point.
And so we have put all of the names into a wheel.
Let's bring it up right now.
All right, let's do that. All right, ready to go. Let's spin away. I do apologize that I don't really have a way to put this up live. We will figure that out for the main giveaway.
Yeah, you figured it out for the voicemails. We can figure out how to do this later.
We will find a way to make this happen. And so you guys will get a live look at the spin so that you know, obviously, like, we're not going to screw anybody over, but we want all of you to feel comfortable with it. Yeah. So, I know there's just a lot of those
take our word
out there,
for it this time.
But unfortunately, please just take our word for it. So let's do the spin.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
Okay. That was a weird spin, bro.
You want me to try again?
No.
Okay.
All right.
It's still going.
I know. Okay. And Danielle. All right. So Danielle Stewart, you are the winner. Congratulations. I will be sending a message out to you so that you know, and, or, watch this video and maybe that's how you find out. I don't know. That'd be cool too.
Yeah.
If you just give us a little view.
Yeah. At least a minute.
Yeah, just at least a minute. Guys, if you could just tune in for 1 minute, please. It just gives us the full view. So anyways, yeah. So awesome. Danielle Stewart, that's the winner.
Proud of you.
Proud of you.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for entering.
Get the palm-sized tattoo.
Appreciate you. Yeah, this one was for a palm-sized tattoo. So now we're doing a 4-hour session, which will be much, much larger. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so very exciting stuff. All right.
We're doing that up until we get 1,000 on each, right? Are we doing both, like 1,000 on YouTube and 1,000 on TikTok, or one or the other? Yeah.
So basically, this giveaway is all in your hands, guys. It goes as fast as you let it go. So the more subscribers, the more followers, the more everything, the faster this giveaway comes to a close. If by some chance by the end of the week you guys figure out a way to make this happen so fast, then the giveaway ends by then before we can even record the next episode. So, but it is really in your hands. You guys have the power to make this happen as fast as you want it to happen.
That's going to be a lot of entries to count if it happens within 1 week.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I will scour through every single one of them. If they make it happen that fast, I will be astonished. But
I don't think we'll be able to scour through all that fast.
Oh, it'll take a minute, and we will just update them on the following video that, like, hey, we reached it, and it's gonna be a second. But we will count up every single individual little vote there, or little entry there, and yeah, so
we'll be doing the tallies every day.
Yeah, so we'll keep up with everything, and just make sure that you guys submit it to us, submit that you have done it, and obviously we'll keep track of the hashtag and check in on it eventually. You'll have to use the hashtag, otherwise we will not see it. Because I don't think that we're going to go with that one. I don't want anything that sounds close to cock.
You said it.
I said it. Oh no, our video's getting taken down.
Yep.
So anyways.
Well, we were talking about people getting unalived earlier. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, it may get taken down regardless. Who knows?
Yeah.
So you guys tune in quick. Just kidding. This is the end of the video. You're not if you're here, you're already here. Yeah. All right. But yeah. So I keep chewing this damn gum. I mean to keep it in the side of my mouth. So yeah, that's all I have. That's all the rules for the giveaway. So that's everything. Awesome. Cool. You have anything else?
I do.
Okay. What is it?
I have a surprise for you.
For me.
And everybody else that's been sticking with us since the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Nah, bro. I'm not even fucking...
Look at it.
Bro.
Just look at it.
If this isn't North Dakota, I will fucking throw it in your face right now. I want you to know that.
I accept that, and that would be very painful.
Okay. You seem pretty accepting. I'm ready. Oh, fuck. It's actually North Dakota.
North Dakota.
I'm going to have to memorize the fact that this was a 2006 quarter, just in case we ever lose this again.
Yeah.
Where did you find this?
Well, I found it behind the TV upstairs, where it was apparently put when my lady cleaned up from the TV downstairs.
Okay, so she gathered all the change, put it where some other change is.
Yep.
And it got lost in the
other change.
Got you. Because this was our downstairs quarter.
Mm-hmm.
I see. And she just didn't realize it was our downstairs quarter.
No.
Okay. Well, that's a easy mistake to make. It's okay.
North Dakota's back.
Oh my God.
And I will protect it with my life.
With your life is crazy, but you know what? It deserves that.
Yes.
So shout out North Dakota. I'm almost 99% sure we don't have anybody watching from North Dakota yet, but when they start, they're going to be so excited that we've just been repping North Dakota ever since the beginning. So
yeah, because we have no ties.
Yeah, zero. I don't know anybody out there.
Is Mount Rushmore in North or South Dakota?
Don't know.
Yeah, I don't care.
And that's how much I know about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Could be either.
Yeah.
Could be neither. I don't know.
You know what? We should get some merch and then put the North Dakota on the shirt.
The quarter?
North Dakota quarter, yeah.
What if Mount Rushmore is in North Dakota? If it is, because I'm not Googling this, guys, so I could sound like a complete idiot right now. I don't care. It's fine. But if it is, what if we take Mount Rushmore and put our faces on it?
But all four faces?
Yeah, we'll figure it out. I don't know. We don't have 4 people on this show, but we'll figure it out.
We could put Zach on there.
Yeah, maybe we'll pick out. We'll have another giveaway where you guys get to be a part of our merch, and we'll pick out 2 people that have been there since the beginning, because we have been keeping track of that. Oh, you decided to Google it?
I did.
Okay, is it in North Dakota? It's in South Dakota. Fuck,
South Dakota. There goes that idea.
Is there anything of importance in North Dakota? I mean, to North Dakodians, what would you call yourselves?
Dakotas.
Dakotas. To the North Dakotas out there. I don't know if there's anything.
Apparently there's buffaloes.
There's definitely buffaloes. According to that quarter, you guys are known for buffaloes.
Yep.
And all this time, I would have assumed that was buffalo, but it's not. It's North Dakota.
And that's a very flat mesa.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's one of those 4th grade terms you're pulling out there. That's cool, man.
I have never used that word.
Until now. So 4th grade really doing some shit for you there.
Yep.
Good stuff. Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. I can't believe we found this. Well, you found this, but still.
Yeah.
Because I searched through all kinds of quarters. I was going to find a replica, and
that would have been cheating.
It would have been cheating, but also I just wanted another North Dakota so bad. But it's insanely absurd how hard it is to find a North Dakota quarter.
Right.
I have found one of so many other states. I went through
maybe we have a rarity right here.
We might, because I went through half a jug of change. I mean, there's various change in there, but there's so many quarters. Mm-hmm. Not one was a North Dakota quarter. Not one. It makes 0 sense. So I'm happy that we have this back. And because my next option was to go on eBay and see if anybody's just selling North Dakota. So
along with another tattoo kit.
Well, no, I buy real machines now.
Okay.
Thank God. Them things be expensive, boy.
That was a reference to the beginning if you were paying attention.
Maybe you were, maybe you weren't.
No.
Maybe you skipped all the way to the end just so you can know about the giveaway, and that's fine too.
Is it?
Sure. Because they had to get a minute if they wanted to hear about that giveaway.
That's true.
But yeah. Okay. Other than this, you have anything else?
Nah, I'm good.
Me neither. I have nothing else. So all in all,
That was TATMYAWK.
no, I don't like that. We're not doing that. It's too close to it. No. The real one will be below earlier. You will have seen it.
Okay.
It will be a part of the post. We'll figure it out.
That was Awk Awe, guys.
That's what it was.
Goodbye,
Bye, my friends. I was scratching my eye. I didn't even wave. Bye, my friends. Goodbye. I hope you have a great time.
Shut up.
I don't want to say the other thing because we might get sued. Bye.
North Dakota.